Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Site, the emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you're not currently a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Harold, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it very much. Aristophan is here. Hello, Aristophan. Lashbrook is here. What's up, Lashbrook? Happy to have you here. Harold is, of course, here, as I said, raiding, which we appreciate. We are currently at 45 out of 50 subscribers. We're looking to hit that big 5-0. That would be great. I did barely get a payout last month because it processed now. So I did thankfully get a payout there. When you're hovering around 40, depending on how many are regular subscribers and how many are Prime subscribers, sometimes I can have a little bit of a difference there. But I did manage to just get over that hump to get a payout. Otherwise, my next payout would have been big. Speaking of cash money, there's some new premium stuff going up on Premium Bandai. I didn't look too closely at it. There's a bunch of RE100s, which I'm going to be honest with you folks, I thought that was done. I thought that the full mechanics name was replacing the RE100 name, and apparently that's not true. I have to check my money situation here before I make any decisions, because some of them look very cool, but they're also very expensive. So it's that thing where it's just like, I don't know, like $50 for an RE100 kit, but it's a cool orange robot? Yeah. $52 for a real grade Gundam Astray. Astrea that looks really cool? I don't know. $64 for a master grade. Actually, honestly, not a bad deal. And of course, you also have to, that's the amazing Exia, which as a kid I don't love. So it's like, I don't know if I want to spend $64 on a master grade I don't love. I don't know. So I haven't made a decision there yet. If I'm going to be I'm going to be pre-ordering any of these. And of course, none of those look like they're, to me anyway, to be ones that are going to sell out or like end pre-order. But I could be wrong. So I have to look at that later. I got to, check my finances here. I do have 3 kits being shipped out this month. The You Remembaer Real Grade, and then the White Rider and Black Rider. From Premium Bandai, and then in May I have the new Gundam entry grade, which I just started seeing some review YouTubers have gotten their hands on the new Gundam, and it looks pretty good. It's a fine looking entry grade, so I've got that coming sometime in May. The Raider Gundam coming sometime in May, and the Asmodee high grade, which is now a bit of a name change there. Coming, and then the part separator coming in June, and the Gundam Asclepius. Hey Jim, welcome, happy to have you here. They're throwing those emotes in there. August is the God Gundam, which was supposed to be earlier and got pushed to August. And then, I forgot, July I have the Heavy Arms Endless Waltz Master Grade from Premium Bandai. That's going to be great. And then also in August is the Heavy Arms Custom High Grade, which is the it's like the refresh during Gundam Wing, where it's just like extra weapons but still that red color. It's nice. Vieta and Mercurius double pack, which I missed out previously. I got that coming. And then in October, nothing in September pre-ordered for me, but then October, the Shenlong Gundam high grade. And of course, all those are months where, honestly, let's be real, they don't get shipped at the beginning of the month. So really, all those, just take into account that'll be early in the next month that I'll receive them, because they usually get shipped out, if you're lucky, the end of the month. And often, USA Gundam Store doesn't have everything right away. They have to wait on some stuff. So, and to be fair, Gundam Planet as well. Premium Bandai doesn't have to wait. It's just that has to be shipped to me from California, so it takes a while. But yeah, I've got those kits, and of course I've got a good backlog. Speaking of which, my $10 patrons tomorrow will get a poll of what I should do after I finish this kit, which we will get into now. I think we have chatted for long enough here at the top of the stream, and we can get into the building. So I'm going to reply to my tweet, see if we can get a few more friends to join us tonight. It'd be nice if we did. And then we'll get into the... let me just double check something real quick here. Check my properties, because I had to refresh some stuff here. Configure video, camera control. Great. Okay, we're good. Had to restart my computer and some of my settings sometimes save and sometimes don't save, which is fun for everybody. So this is what we got. This is a kit from the year 2000. So we started with the arms, which is weird. Then we did the feet, and now we're working on the legs. So this is everything we have built here. But, you know, putting it all together should work out just fine. These stickers. I have hit these stickers with a little liquid cement to try to get them to adhere better because these stickers are also 22 years old and don't seem to be particularly super tacky. So I am using a little bit of liquid cement on them, and I will hopefully not have to do that too much because it's not a good idea. But basically I'm just like hitting it kind of over the plastic to make it adhere a little better. It could ruin the sticker, but also I don't particularly care. I'm considering it to be an experiment. But yeah, these are old stickers. Because this is not a reissue later. This is literally a kit from the year 2000. So it is 22 years old. And we need to pick up where we left off, which is with the leg. Got to go back here to the leg. Put these aside. I had real problems with the version of those stickers for the real grade, actually. So let's... Okay, Lashbrook, that's good to know. Could be just this kit is cursed with bad stickers. Who knows? But I'm using liquid cement, really, because it's just like, this is so unusual, these particular things, that like I like the look of it. I like the little red bar on the leg. It breaks it up in a way that I think is cool. So, you know, I want it. All right, we got this done here. So we applied the sticker. We put all this on. This is actually just done. We can place it there in the leg. I didn't even realize we'd gotten that far. But now we need to build the top of our leg here. So we'll need some poly caps. So a 20-year-old Lego set would have a premium price. Anything similar with 20-year-old Gundam, says Aristophan. So the secondary market is complex, Aristophan, is what I would say. There are certain old things that are definitely worthwhile. Limited runs, premium things, exclusives. Certainly, you're certainly going to find things that were there. But that's generally like a hard to find thing. Or maybe it's a kit that didn't have like re-releases, right? It didn't have a bunch of... it hasn't had a modern update in a while. That kind of thing. Like, expensive old kits are still going to be expensive, but cheap old kits are still going to be relatively cheap. They just become more difficult to find, but they sit on... This is the thing with old kits. They sit on shelves. So this kit, which I purchased just from a store that works with Amazon so that you can get Amazon free shipping, because they send out things quite often, so they've made a deal with Amazon. This was probably $5 more than I would have spent if I had gotten it. Okay, I need PCJ. Yeah, maybe $5, maybe $10 more than I would have gotten it 22 years ago, because there's not a demand for it. The things that do appreciate in value, those hard to find ones that do go up in price, honestly, those are kits from the last 5 to 7 years, just because it's harder to find. Like there's a weird run on Gundam Seed Master Grades on the secondary and third party markets are expensive. Like the Buster Gundam is going to cost you like the Buster Gundam Master Grade is going to cost you like $80 instead of like, which is probably twice, if not more than twice, what I paid for it when I got it when I started streaming. So 4 years ago. Master grades are also bulky, so sometimes you would assume that stores would want to get them off their shelves and out to people, but people are willing to pay more for bigger kits. Uh, it all really depends. I mean, it feels like a waste to buy those non-grade, because they're not even high grades. The non-grade G Gundam kits, the very early ones, those do feel like a waste of money because you're paying for a little bit for those, and you're not really getting much of a kit, and they're not particularly good looking. But of course, everything has gone up and will continue to go up because now it's going to be, because here's the thing. People ask me this on occasion. So we'll talk about this. Because they go, Pat, why do you buy from Premium Bandai? You're paying that Bandai tax. Why do you buy stuff from USA Gundam Store, Gundam Planet, and Amazon? Why don't you use Bai or Yahoo Japan? And there are third-party sites you can go through that will there's a company that for a pretty reasonable fee, you can use their website and they will generate an address in Japan for you, for your items to be sent to, and then they will actually be shipped to you in the U.S. And you can get, you can just do all this stuff. And the real reason I don't do it is one, because those fees pile up. Whereas USA Bandai Store, you're paying tax, you're paying shipping, and you're paying for the item. But two, all that shit is going to go up like by 15% in the next year, and those tariffs are just going to be, it's going to be so much more expensive. The idea of getting deals on Bai, you're only going to get, the only reason to use Bai and other services like that are to get those exclusives. Like, if you don't have a friend in Japan and you want the RX-782 that was sold exclusively in 7-Elevens, and the RX-782 looks like has a 7-Eleven colors. It doesn't look like a 7-Eleven. It has those color scheme. I feel like Gundam kits have a longer print life than Lego stuff. That's also a fair point. The runs are usually longer for Lego than for mobile suits than for Lego. Lego does, in a certain thing, they retire sets a lot faster, and then you're forced to. And it's very rare that Lego does re-releases. Not even refreshes, just, hey, we found more of the old one, or we found the old, whatever, and we're putting them out again. Like, you don't get that with Lego. But yeah, so that's why I don't import. Now, if I had a friend in Japan that was willing to mail things to me as a gift, and we were doing the gift thing, it would totally be worth it to send my friend PayPal money and have them purchase something for me honestly, what I need is a South Korean acquaintance, because the Gundam base, the Gundam store in South Korea gets some really cool colorways and clear versions of kits. There's going to be a Death Scythe, the Death Scythe high grade that I built last year. They're getting a clear one with that's just gorgeous looking. It's like a clear green, like several shades, and I believe that is a Gundam base exclusive right now in South Korea. I don't know if it'll show up in other places, but I believe that is the case right now. And so, yeah, I wish I had a friend in South Korea who was willing to go to places and then mail me stuff. I don't have that. My friend Ian, shout out to Ian over at Loading Ready Run. Ian Horner built that 7-Eleven RX-782. His brother sent it to him from Japan, and that rules. That's how he was able to procure it. Although, also, I'm sure if he had just said something on a stream that he wanted it, somebody, because those fans, Loading Ready Run as an entity has a lot of fans, and then it has a small percentage of those fans who are definitely willing to spend too much money to mail something that somebody mentioned once to them, which is great. There's an ongoing saga with them about a particular tabletop game that got sent to them that they never played because they don't say, hey, we'll definitely play this if you send it to us. It's like, they could. But it ended up being like a first edition of a game that's like, now it's worth a lot of money. So the person that sent it to them was like, hey, I'll send you like the newer version that's not priceless, and you should sell the old one, which I thought was neat. He wasn't like, I want it back. He was like, oh, you should sell that. It's worth a lot of money because you probably haven't opened it yet. All right, we're moving on to the chest. Finally, after we did the arms and the legs, it's time to finally work on the chest of this kit. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We got to work on the head. That's right. We have to work on the head next. The second step is instead step 15, because usually the chest is like, all of the chest is like the first or second step of this. But no. So let's get that together. Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome. All right, so we need A6. You can find that there. There's A6. That's a red piece. Okay. Put the red piece there. All right, and that's B2, B3. These are all Bs. A32, and okay. Oh, we do have a sticker coming up, so we will need a sticker with A32, which is another red piece here. I have my window open because it's we're at the point now. I heard you got a shout out from a world-class competitive Gunpla builder on the Bombcast. Oh yes, no, that was not. In 4 months behind of the Bombcast. I'm sorry, John. Also, hi, John. So I was in chat because they were talking about Gundam and Gunpla, because they're talking about the new game, the basically Gundam Overwatch. It's not that, but that's what it is. It's not called Gundam Overwatch, but that's what it is. They were talking about that, and then somebody said, are there competitive Gunpla built like competitions? And I said yes. And then so basically it was very funny because somebody had said like, we should ask Pat Bear, and there's like Pat Bear in the chat is to the effect of like, oh yeah, Pat Bear in the chat is saying yes. Now, generally, Gunpla competitions are not about speed. They are not about time to complete. There are those, but those are not as regular, or those are rare compared to what generally happens, which is creative competitions. Your paint, your marker work, your detailing work, your kit bashing, your scratch builds, those kind of things. That's more of it, right? You're rarely going to see speed competitions. They happen, but there's not a competitive scene for that. I have witnessed at New York Comic Con a RX-782 high grade speed build that took place between 15 people, and I believe the person that completed it, the person that said they finished first, got an incomplete and had to go back because they had missed some stuff. They took shortcuts, and it was recognized that they were taking some shortcuts. And the person that won it, I believe, did it in like less than 3 minutes. Like completed the 144 scale high grade build in less than 3 minutes, and it was very impressive. So I have definitely witnessed some of that, but but it's pretty rare. So yeah, I got a little shout out on the old Bombcast, which was very nice of them to reference. It feels weird because they've been referencing Gundam stuff, and I've been watching live. So Lord Crashington said there are Gundam speed runs, but like I said, there's not a speed run scene. There's not a speed build scene per se. There are people that are pretty fast at assembly, but mostly your competitions are going to be painting, diorama. There's a diorama category where everyone is using the same kit, and it's about placing that kit in whatever diorama you want to build for it. I've seen battle damage categories and kit bashing categories and all that. That's generally the focus. Now I'm thinking of the person who assembles the entry grade Strike Gundam while still in the bag, and I want that competition. Yeah, I don't know if there are because there's separate bags. I guess you could do There probably are blind builds, either blindfolded or all assembled, you know, like trying to do it through the plastic. I guess it's possible. I mean, that's very difficult. So I imagine there's somebody out there who's pulling off that shenanigans. But for the most part, I believe most of it is just, like I said, is just the artistic competitions. I've never competed in any of that stuff. Never done the photography contest. Never did anything like that. Never really been interested. I did have there. I was on a Discord for some Gunpla builders that were a bunch of them were doing a contest, and I almost ended up jumping in on that, but I eventually decided that was not necessarily something that I was interested in doing. All right, so we got an antenna on this, so we'll put the antenna on here. We got to do. There's no polycap on this. Okay. There's no polycap to build on here. So put the face here. We do have to put a sticker on this, the eye sticker on here. So we'll have to do that. Okay, so we put that there. I'd love to see a creative Gundam League that's just like the way they portray Rose growing competitions on King of the Hill. Oh, yeah, I mean, you know, the circuit of the Gundam competitions. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you end up seeing like the photography ones, you see a lot of the same people for like a while, and then they retire or move on, or somebody important to them finds out this is what they're doing with their free time, and they end up being like, I don't do this, I don't do it anymore. People I know found out. I know I feel weird, which is a shame, but certainly happens in lots of creative things. Is you're just doing it for fun, and then somebody finds out, and you're like, oh no, I feel weird. This just won't go in, so I'm going to be pulling out my tweezers here. Let's see if these jewelry tweezers will help me out here. Let's try this one here. So I got to get this piece in. Theoretically, yeah, like that. Yeah. It doesn't want to go in right. So we'll see if I can get it to go in without breaking it. Oops. Sorry. This will take a little while. Also, I'm sweating. I have the window open, and here's the thing that's really annoying right now, folks. Got the window open because it's at this weird time of year where it's not hot enough in the house to justify air conditioning for the rest of the house, but in here, because I have this big computer running all the time, it is warmer here. This is the warmest part of the house, unfortunately, and so that is frustrating because I would like to have it be cool in here, but so I just have the window open, and I can smell the lovely fragrance of lighter fluid. So somebody's grilling. Don't smell the grill. I smell the lighting fluid. Which I shouldn't smell all of that. Okay. Why can't this work? I don't know why this piece doesn't want to go in, but it doesn't, and it's weird. It's like, get in there. This is the face. Okay, there we go. I got it. That just did not want to go in there at all. Hope I don't have to remove that because I don't know how I'm going to get it back in. All right, let's apply the sticker here now. And then hopefully this will stick. And if it doesn't stick, I will then get a little bit of liquid cement to help it out and see if I can get that to coax it into working. I do like this sticker because it's two colors. This is one sticker. Very difficult for you to see that, I'm sure. But it's got three colors. It's black, and then the green eyes, and then like a red under layer. And that's very cool. So I'm just going to pad this down as much as possible. Hopefully it'll dry in there and look great. Um, yeah, also, window can be open because it looks like we're finally, right now, it seems like we are past the dreaded, the terrible allergy season. Looks like pollen count has dropped significantly, which is great. So, cleaned up the old patio. Was out there the other day, and now I can spend some time out there and won't have to take allergy medication unless I am mowing the lawn or something. So that'll be good. Excited about that. Other things to talk about. This got brought up by a friend of mine on Twitter, and I liked it. I liked reading it, and I wanted to talk about it. This concept of the idea of a family friend, and how like you don't question that as a kid. Like, why is this person like Uncle so-and-so or Aunt so-and-so? Like, that we're not related by blood, but you call them aunt or uncle. I don't know if you and Chad have had this. Some people don't. Some people don't have that. They're just like, yeah, I don't know. I had actual uncles and aunts that lived near me or would travel all the time. And then my parents had like friends and I like knew them. Cause I didn't have this. I didn't have friends of my parents who I referred to as Mr. and or Mrs. or Ms. or whatever, and their last name. My parents' closest friends were like Aunt Pat, Uncle Nick. Like those were people that is what I called them. And then years later, it would take me quite some time to realize that all of my non-related by blood aunts and uncles that I had were well, actually, I'm gonna panel line this before I put this on. I think I'm gonna do that. All of those were just very close friends of my mom who worked with her when she was a teacher. So it was just like my mom's coworkers and friends were like the people I was around. But let me know in the chat. Did you have like relatives who like? Do you have aunties who weren't like related to you at all, but you know you still called aunt? Or were your parents friends like? You know, like, oh, no, I knew, or maybe even Mr. or Ms. or Miss and their first name. Like, was there like a Ms., you know, like Abby that you knew, that you would always like, whatever, like, sometimes you get off the school bus and you go to that person's house. My neighbor as a kid was an older lady, and my grandparents' age that was my mom's best neighbor friend. They'd hang out during summer evenings. Okay. But she was like older. But yeah, they were just like, that was the neighbor. That was the neighbor that would hang out. Yeah. I don't know. It never felt weird to me, but it was the thing was like that realization that family friends are just like the people your parents drank with. And you're just like, oh yeah, that's a friend of the family. And you're like, okay. It's like a delineation between like, this is a person that like isn't related to you, but like is important. I have said this before, that if anybody ever needs an Uncle Pat, that I would be happy. Like friends of mine, I'm not giving this out to strangers, but if friends with mine were like, if you need an Uncle Pat, I am interested and available. I've definitely said this on occasion. So you might be asking yourself before I look at chat because I see some of you reply, Pat, are you using a black marker on this? I thought you used gray. I'm trying something out that was recommended to me by a model kit builder, which is to use black. Even if you're using gray on the rest of the white, use black on the head because it's so small that the detailing will be lost if you use a gray, but with a black it'll be more striking and it won't look weird because the whole head is small. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like a kit from the year 2000 that I'm probably not going to save is a great place to like test that out. So I've done all of this in black instead of gray, and we'll see if it like doesn't look right comparatively. I think it looks fine because again, it is a small thing, but we'll see. I'm trying it out because that is a tip that I have never heard before, but I respect the person that gave me the tip, so I am gonna give it a go. It is obviously a small area, but it might be something I do in the future. I might use black on white, like a white sculpted head instead of gray. Of course, we didn't do the chest yet, so I have nowhere to put this. So we do have to move on now, and now we can finally get into working on the the chest. Now we can actually do the chest pieces. My grandma's best friend when I was a kid was basically another grandma to me. Oddly, we called her by her last name with no misses or anything. Yeah, that is weird. That is odd. She instilled to me my love of puzzles. Hell yeah, Wrist fan. I like hearing that. That's neat. That's very cool. Let's see. It was weirdly like the direct neighbors nearest the house that were friends of the family, but beyond that, they were kind of strangers to me. Oh, okay. From Lord Crashington. And then Dirty, what's up, Dirty? Happy to have you here. Saying, we had a family with the same last name that we met through my grandmother's work that for decades I thought were actually family. They were at every family reunion, barbecues, holidays, and weddings. See, that's confusing for a kid. Like, it's one thing to be told, like, hey, this is like your mom's best friend, and you know she's been here a lot, and you know been around, and like you know we're gonna you know we want you to call her this or whatever. Like that's one thing, but it's another to be like these people that show up to family reunions and have the same last name as you, but they're just like people we met and think are cool. Like that's weird for a kid to be like, what's up with that? Like sometimes when I was younger, somebody would show up at like a family reunion and it would just be like a date. And I was like, what? Why? Because I would be like 11 and me. So I would be like, but it's family time. Like what? Like a date? Like your fiance? Sure. It just didn't make sense to me. Like, why would you just bring like someone like that's one thing if you go to like a wedding and you were like the friend from college and you're representing like the college years and you're like, hey, come with me to this. I'm not going to know a lot of people at this thing. I haven't really kept in touch with this person, but we always talked about the weddings. Like I have been that date for people. I've gone to a wedding where my date or you know, my friend only knew like the bride and maybe like their parents kind of, but not really a lot of other people. And so I went just be like, they would have someone to talk to. I have done that before and I will probably do it again because, you know, it's nice to be needed. But that to me was always a weird thing when people were like, yeah, you know, we have the family reunion and those people over there aren't related to anybody, but they're cool. Like, okay, sure. Let's see, A33. A33 is, where is it? It's a little platform piece here. That's 36, 33, there it is. Let's see. I'd often get asked if a cop I'd never heard of that somehow had the same last name was related to me. My last name is a very rare last name that a few other groups outside of the family have, which got annoying when my parents and I would get asked about it. There's no cops in the family. That is annoying when someone's just like, well, do you know so-and-so? And it's like, oh, are you related to somebody? And you're like, no. No. I've gotten emailed a few times from people looking for a relative of mine or thinking they might be related to me. And then when we trace it back, it's like, no. And then I've had to say this to people a couple times. I've had to be like, hey, you know that this is a popular name in Germany, right? Like, there are going to be other people with this name. Like, look, in America, Baer is not a super popular name that a lot of people have. But it is popular at other fucking places. And, like, maybe, like, you know, it's like, maybe it's not that super. There's also another Pat Baer. Now, she's Patricia Baer, but she goes by Pat. She is a musician. I do not know if her music is good or not. But like, and there was a real estate agent named Pat Baer, also a lady. And when she finally retired from being a real estate agent, I purchased patbaer.com from her. I mean, it went up for grabs and I grabbed it because I needed to have it. All right, so I think this goes like this. All right, let's start getting this thing together. This chest is not complicated, but it does have a lot of parts, moving parts to it. So we'll get this all straightened up. I had a good stretch where someone using the same last name just used my email for all of their crap, even including insurance and bank stuff, like that I nicely try to tell them I have no relation to this person, that they're doxing a stranger. Yeah, I definitely had that. My AOL account, I would get stuff that was being, like, somebody had a version of my username, and they would just get emails sent to me. That was back in the AOL days, as I said. So this was a while ago. But I would get a lot of emails clearly meant for somebody else being sent to my direction. And I would be like, I don't know who sent this, but no, I can't help you here. I don't know. Oh, I had the wrong one there. All right, got it. I mean, I still get emails. One thing that was really weird, I had an email account for the 3-on-3 improv tournament, and I had spelled out 3on3@gmail.com. I don't use that email, and nobody runs that contest anymore. It was an improv competition that I ran for many, many years in New York. And eventually, for whatever reason, there was a tournament, like a bocce tournament that was happening. And I was like, and I was getting emails from people, and I would have to reply going, hey, you need to check who's sending this. I don't know. Please tell the person in charge of this. This is not what this is. And like, I did have one person go like, well, I don't know what to tell you. This is the email address I was told to send to. And I was like, okay, well, they were wrong. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what this is, but I know what I am, which is I am the person that operates an improv competition that happens Thanksgiving month or Thanksgiving weekend in New York. I mean, really the whole month of November, whatever you go and say. I have an unusual last name, says Christopher fan. Occasionally I get emails from England for people with the same last name. Okay, yeah, okay, there you go. That will happen. And then Lord Cratchit says there were notable bank issue companies, insurance companies that should have had better security for this stuff. 100%, yeah. Also, my first initial plus my last name looks Spanish, so I get some South American emails as well. Okay, yeah, that can be the combination of that. Yeah. Yeah, those things could be tricky when you add that in. People are like, oh, this is very similar. Like, people that have, like, a name similar to whatever. I mean, I've definitely, like, included the wrong, like, Jeff, because there are, like, 4 video game Jeffs. And then I have definitely included Jeff Grubb when I met Jeff Bakalar on the thing, accidentally, because I was clicking on my phone, and I just clicked the wrong one, because I started typing Jeff in. And that's embarrassing. I don't think I've ever emailed the wrong person with a similar first name in a long time. I've definitely done it, but I think I've been very good about it for quite some time. I've been able to avoid that particular terrible scenario. I have been pretty lucky in that regard. All right, so this goes in here. This doesn't seemingly fit right, but okay. This goes like this. Problem is that, like, this doesn't seem to link anywhere. Okay. There's, like, no information about, like, this doesn't, the piece here that is going to stick to our neck. This is basically our neck. There's, like, this slides into this runner. And my only thought is, oh, maybe when I connect the back, there will be nowhere for this to go, so it won't come up. So we're going to do that, knowing that we might have to take this apart because this doesn't feel right. We're going to find out. But this doesn't seem to make much sense here, so we'll see. Oops. I think that fell too low. There's like kind of a runner here for this. Or does it go? No, it wouldn't go like that. It has to go like this. And then this slides in the back. I don't know. I'm a little off here. Video games, videogamejeffs.com. Indeed. I just want to tell them that they're being scammed and should follow up with that person. Yeah. Yeah, that that is a tough thing. Or like, you know, obviously recently it's become an issue, but like there was also the issue for our friend Will Smith out there that okay, this just did not stay in, so I have to take this apart because this is not locked in place anywhere and it's just out, and that's not good. So I do have to remove this back part, hopefully without breaking anything, which is great because there's no like clear directives on what I'm supposed to be doing with this here. Except this, so this wants to go on like this, around the other way, low. That maybe? Yeah, I'll put it in low and see. Oh, okay. I figured it out. There's a spot in the back here. It looked like they wanted me to go forward. They really want me to put this like this and then slide it back into the back piece here because there is a spot for this neck thing to go in there. So that's what I was supposed to do. And then I slide the whole thing forward. This was poorly explained, and I know I also did a pretty bad job of explaining it, but this step was not explained well, and it makes sense why I was like, what am I doing wrong here? So now I understand what I was supposed to do. I still did it wrong. But yeah. I can still smell that lighter fluid. They used a lot of lighter fluid. Seems like. Okay. Got it. Now I think I can connect this and have it all work out. That was needlessly complicated and weird. And I think I did get it. Okay, great. Whew. Hopefully I won't have to do any more with that. That was weirdly complicated. All right. Any other stickers that need to go on here? No stickers yet. We got to just put on some components here. 50, 39, 50, 49, and then 48. Okay. Let's keep going on this. Let's see. Are there other things that I want to talk about? I think if Twitter first of all, Twitter isn't going to sell to Elon Musk. Twitter's not going to sell Elon Musk. But if Twitter does sell to Elon Musk, I don't think I'm going to leave Twitter. I think I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to ride out the long term, like the immediate tanking of a business, because I've never like owned anything made by him, like a Tesla or anything like that. I've never like bought into the scam that is Elon Musk. So it would maybe be kind of fun to be associated, like be around, not associated with, but like be around as like everything falls apart. And like I was there for the Tumblr, the great decline of Tumblr. Like I stuck it out in the Yahoo years for a while, not all the time, but for a good while I stuck it out. Like maybe I'll stick out the Twitter demise, because if he does, the person who there's somebody that has like an actual person is a Saudi prince. It's not the Saudi prince that invests in video games, but is another Saudi prince that has invested like 5%. And then there is like apparently a group that has more. Elon Musk does not have the most single shares of Twitter anymore. He did, and then someone else went and got a collective basically announced, actually we have more. But they're just like, they're not like a hedge fund. They're just like people that think Twitter's okay and like mostly agree with the board, just like in general. So that's like, I don't know but they're basically like, yeah, he's not the biggest shareholder anymore. I hate that I have to think about Twitter, and also that I have to think about um, that I have to think about Elon Musk. I hate that I have to like give him any of my time. Um, let's see, 39. Ooh, very small blue piece. Okay, almost missed it. Now there are other rich weirdos coming out of the shadows wanting to buy them to make it more crypto friendly and other not great things. Yeah, here's the thing. Like nobody should buy Twitter because it's not worth the money you think it's going to be worth because people consider Twitter like a right, so they don't want to pay for it. Even though it is a business, it's just a thing. But people are like, no, this is a breach of my free speech and my protected speech. And you're like, it's Twitter. That's not that. It's not run by the government. It's not a government social media. It's just a thing that exists that like people made so you could like use SMS. You could use text messages to send like, hey, going to get lunch, and then people that like could get like text messages of your updates, and then we're like, oh, I guess you could look out on the web if you wanted, and then you're like, oh, and then we got apps because the iPhone is a thing. It's like no, it's just existed for a while now that people are like demand it that like it exists for them and serve their needs, but it's just a social media site. It's just Friendster. It's all just Friendster, people. Whatever. Anyway, I hope Elon Musk. I hope he doesn't buy it because I still use it for things, and it would be harder to use it with his dumb ideas because he's not a good business person. He's didn't invent any of the things that he is credited with. Obviously, he is just a guy with money. And ideas that are generally old ideas and not good ones. And he is so desperate to be accepted by people. Lord Crashton wants to play some ska. Here's some ska for you. Elon Musk is just a guy that he's literally, I'm not being owned. The man. He is the living embodiment of I'm not being owned. And it's sad. Scott against Elon Musk. Indeed. All right, let's panel line this thing. Let's get some brown in there for this and figure out these things, what we need to do here. It's looking pretty good so far. As someone who lives in the same town as him, I wish I could think about Elon Musk less. Yes. Indeed, Lashbrook, I agree. Yeah, it sucks that we have to give that person any time of day. But yeah, he is so needed. He so needs to be needed and thought of as a genius. And all his ideas are bad. His businesses are bad. And also, poor work environments for people of color and women. Just terrible, just awful racist businesses, like openly, like the guy who made all his money because of diamond mines because of apartheid. He also like treats black people terribly, like as company policy, like unwritten company policy. It's just like fuck that dude forever. Yes, that's the thing. The dude. Because like people were like, well, isn't Elon Musk like the closest thing we have to like Tony Stark? And it's like, no, Tony Stark made things. He is Justin Hammer. He is like a dude that's just like, he is literally a guy that is like, I want to be Tony Stark. Which Tony Stark like obviously is a construct, but like for that person, the Playboy lifestyle and all that eventually. So he is in some ways playing around with that, but like. No, yeah, this is the dude that really wants to be. He so wants to be Tony Stark, and he is not. It's like, remember when like Jim Carrey's Edward Nygma like had money and was trying to like because of crime, and he was trying to have like a dual personality, like a secret identity like Batman did, and he was like trying to compete against Bruce Wayne, but it's like, you can't pull this off, kid. You're not a good enough actor to pull this off. You don't know the secret, which is that Bruce Wayne is Bruce Wayne is the alter ego of his real personality, which is Batman. Like, no, that's not, you're not going to be able to fool this dude. Batman is, it's like, no, Bruce Wayne is like the act. Also, they should bring Sam Rockwell back in the MCU. I really do think that Sam Rockwell should show up in some of the MCU TV shows. Like, I think it would be very funny if like, they do more Loki, if he's like involved in that. Like, just, yeah, put him in something. Because, like, I don't know, Justin Hammer's like a fun foil. Because he thinks he's like sticking it to Tony, but like he's so low on the totem pole. And I generally like those, like, it's time for me, it's my time to shine. It's like, who are you? I don't know. What are we doing here? Oh yeah, that's cute. All right, well, I got other things I have to do. Sorry. I don't have time for your shit. Your petty, weird little nonsense. You're playing chess. You're playing checkers, I'm playing chess. That kind of thing. Yeah, I can see that. Anyway, I'm sorry I even brought up Elon Musk, but, he's in the news. Also, it certainly feels weird to be like, yeah, this Saudi prince is like, fuck off. Like, fuck off, Elon Musk. Don't buy Twitter. Also, there was that whole thing where, like, they were like, sure, we'd love to have you on the board. And he was like, I don't want to be on the board. And then, like, days later, he's like, I want to buy Twitter. And it was like, why? What? Just be on the board and they'll like listen to you, I guess. Maybe he was just like, oh no, if I don't run it, if I don't own it and tell people how to run it, then like that doesn't work for me. Fine. We're gonna put the head on this kit just because we can put the head on it now. We can finally put the head on here. That doesn't sit well, in my opinion. That's fine though. Head's on. Put the arms on. This is where we are usually after like 1.5 streams. So it's so weird that we're like, this is like the second full stream of this. And we're finally like getting to parts of this kit. Oh, I got a sticker coming up. I put a sticker on A45. We're working on the waist next. And the backpack. So let's get the waist together. They do like... They don't want me to put this thing together until I've built the weapons and the shield. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? I want to put this together sooner. I guess Justin Hammer is retroactively the first confirmed male LGBTQ character in the MCU. This is what the MCU wiki claims was revealed in one of the one-shot short films, All Hail the King. So... I guess you have to ask, is that canon? Does that, like, that feels like a fucking cop-out? To be like, yeah, this short film. In this short film, they gave the backstory of Justin Hammer being queer. And you're like, is that cool? It's like... As someone who in minutes from now, I will talk about the queer baiting in a particular anime that I'm watching and how I'm like, are they hinting that these characters are lovers? Are they actually gonna pay this off in any way, shape, or form? Pay it off or shut the fuck up is my general opinion when it comes to that stuff. Like, there's no reason. Make your subtext text. Have him be talking to somebody, having me talking to his partner and how it's no big deal, and then move on. But that feels like bullshit to me. I don't know. It feels like a shitty way to handle business. To be like, oh, yeah. Well, according to this one shot, this short film, That's like, yeah, I shouldn't find this out when randomly looking at Wikipedia. Yes. Totally Lord Crash. But yeah, it's that thing where you're like, like, oh, well, Dumbledore was gay because she who shall not be named said so. Oh, so he's gay in the books? No. But after the book, she was like, oh, yeah, Dumbledore's gay. And you're like, oh, fuck off. I mean, for a number of reasons, fuck off. JK, 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 fuck off. But also in that particular way, like, well, put it in the fucking thing. Like, or shut the fuck up. Go big or go home. You can't just be like, after that, be like, oh, yeah, well, he was always gay. It just never came up, and it wasn't a big deal, and it wasn't worth mentioning. But at the time that I am telling you all this, I am looking for brownie points because I have not become outwardly hateful. So, there you go. That sucks. All right, I'm going to drink a little water here because I need it. I need to hydrate a little bit now. We're going to take a pause for the cause in a moment or two. Come back here, start working on the waist and the backpack. But yeah, we still have the cockpit jet to build here, which is cool. Still have to assemble that. The flyer, the separate flyer, and the shield, and not too many weapons here. Just a gun, a single unit beam saber. No colors here. Single unit. This is very 2000. This is just the beam saber. It is just one color, one piece. It's a high grade from the year 2000. It's like, I'm not surprised they didn't go all out. I might not even take it off the runner. I might just put the gun in its hand for photography. All right. Hello. We're taking a pause for the cause, folks. I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about ways you can support the channel. All of this is optional. None of these are things that you are required to do or need to do. But if you would like to do it, that would be great. I will say right off the bat that I've got the Plastic Model Weekender. Is April 29th through May 1st. My stream will be Saturday, April 30th from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Plastic Model Weekender. So go check that out. And I'll be hosting it. I'll host it on this channel, but I won't be looking at this chat. I'll only be looking at chat for twitch.tv/Plastic Model Weekender. So be sure to check that out there. Let's see. What else should I tell you about? I don't know. Let's throw, John already put in there, let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can put those emotes in the chat. Let me see them. Subscribing is the easiest way to support what I do. Right now in the pause for the cause, I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel. All the things I'll be mentioning here are optional. None of these are things you need to do, but if you'd like to do it, it would be great. We're currently at 45 subscribers. I would like to get to 50. If you would like to become a subscriber, that would be awesome. If you'd like to gift somebody the community subscription, you could do that. Arctic Sloth gifted 5 subs. Dirty gifted 1. Aristfan gifted 1. We had a gifted sub yesterday from Nathan Explosion, which was very nice. So yeah, you could gift a sub to somebody in the community anonymously, or you could take credit and join the gift sub leaderboard. Also, you could donate the cash money, bits and coins, always appreciated. Harold and Lord Crashington gave some bits this month, which is always nice, and they joined the Bit Sub leaderboard. So that is another way to support what I do. I'm going to talk about those ways. The alternatives to that, like Patreon right now. Once we hit $150 a month, I'll open up a new reward on Patreon, which is another poll. Because you know how usually the second Wednesday of the month, my $3, $5, and $10 patrons, they vote on what I play on that Wednesday. Well, which was yesterday, was the second one. Well, I'll also add in the fourth Wednesday of the month being a Patreon's choice. Right now, it's just once a month. I'll do that too. So if I get $150 a month, there's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. See if there's a tier. That's right for you. Let's see what else. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. There is subscribing is free. But if you want to become a member for $2 a month, you get my Wednesday videos a day early. Something to think about. But also just subscribe if you haven't already, because my videos on YouTube are good and you'll like them. And I put out 2 new videos this week, and I think both of them are some of my best. So we got that. We've got, what we're going to say? Direct donations, because those are monthly things. Those are like once a month you get charged for that. But there is another way to support what I do, which is one-time donations. Everything I make through donations, through Patreon, through Twitch, and through YouTube, all goes into a fund, and I take money out that and buy model kits. Like this kit that I'm building tonight came from that fund. There's an alternative to that, which is my Amazon wish list. If you want to buy something from my wish list, it'll jump the queue. I have plenty of high grades waiting to build. I have stuff that I purchased last year that I still haven't built. So if you wanted to, you could go on my wish list and buy something, and it'll jump the queue. And I'll build that instead of my other stuff. I have inexpensive Lego stuff. I have kind of more expensive, like some Pokemon stuff. The Kirby entry grade there. Some cheaper options. Some Lego that ranges in prices. I've got a car from Initial D that I'll use liquid cement on. That's a glue kit. Some pre-order stuff, some inexpensive kits, some expensive kits, some kits that just jump in price all the time. And I try to keep this organized by price, and sometimes it falls flat. And then some gear. I have some gear at the bottom that I would be happy to have from you. Some of it is like, this would be great, because if I have these things, then I can like use them to upgrade. Like I have a camcorder that I could use instead of using the webcam that I use for the overhead. But then also I have like, it's a sign that says on air, and I would put that like behind me, and then you would know, like instead of some model kits, it would just say on air, and you would know that I'd be live, because I would light it up. And that's $39 you don't need to spend on me, but you could spend on me if you wanted to, because that's very silly. But you could do that. Alternatively, we'll get back to building soon, but I just want to go through my ads here in the beginning, and then we'll get to building and talking about some anime. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, yeah, Throne. Throne is an alternative to Amazon wishlist. There's not a lot of stuff on there, but I keep it updated pretty well, and there's some different options, some stuff I don't have on Amazon. And then you could always buy me a gift card to USA Gundam Store. You purchase a gift card, they send you a code in your email, then you send me a DM on Twitter, because my DMs are open, or a whisper on Twitch with that code. And that is a different way to support what I do here, is the whole USA Gundam Store thing. Discord is a way to support me. They cost $0. You just go there and hang out. I post build photos. People post stuff they're looking on. There was some discussion happening about some kits and such, which was interesting today. But it was about an Evangelion kits that I don't really have any interest in, so I just read it, and I was like, okay. Which is great. I don't have to be involved in every conversation on there. There should be a conversation that doesn't involve me. Let's see. We did that. Okay. Links. Pat Bear's Anime Club. New episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club out for your perusal and enjoyment. I put this up on Monday. It is my first look at High Dive. Maybe you're interested. Maybe one of the shows they're offering this season interests you over there. You want to check out Executioner's Way of Life, or I'm Quitting Heroing, or a couple of the other shows they have that I'm not interested in. Those are the two I am, but they have other stuff. And you just want to check it out on a service you've heard good things about. This is my look at High Dive. Not sponsored, not an ad, but paying with my own money, but I'm using this service and I want to take a look at it. I have now watched the OVA for Place to Place, an anime I really like, Achikochi. And it's so fun that I finally got to watch the OVA for that I've never seen. They had it. I had no idea. So that was just fun. I just literally discovered it during that video. And then Do You Remembaer? This is a fun one. This week's Do You Remembaer is one of my favorites I've ever done. It is about the Nutty Narrows Bridge, which is, wait for it, a bridge exclusively for squirrels. That's right. It's in Washington State. It was built in the 60s, and they've renovated a bunch. It is a suspension looking. It's not a real suspension bridge for squirrels, so they can go from one forested area to another, and they don't get hit by traffic. And it rules. And I remembered a bunch of things about the Nutty Narrows Bridge. This is the kind of shit I want to talk about on Do You Remembaer. Sometimes it's like about a real person that did some cool shit, like the girl that circumnavigated the globe in a small plane, or, you know, and then sometimes it is about like a weird name for a place, or like a cool like landmark. That's kind of what I want to be doing with this series. So I was happy to be able to do that. All right, I'm going to drink a little water. We're going to talk about some anime, and then we'll also get back to building. But we got to dramatically transition back to that right now. Oof. Dramatically transitioned. We did it. All right, let's continue. Sorry, working on the waist here. We got that together. We gotta put that on there. We did that. Then we gotta build the next component, which is B and D. So we'll do that. All right, let's talk about some anime here. I've got anime to chat with you about. I'll say right off the bat, you may notice, if you remember from last Thursday, I had a couple more anime to talk to you about that I have now cut. Diamond, I might watch on Sunday, Monday, and have a third anime to talk about there. About halfway through this week's episode, I was just like, oh shit, this is a drama. So not every slice of life needs to be chill anime, good time vibes, right? Slice of life does not mean easygoing. It's not chill. There are chill anime that are slice of life, but not every slice of life needs to be chill anime. Which is fine. I'm like, okay with that. But Diamond is a little too dramatic for my liking, and it's a little too much of drama. And also, I have been burned before by, this guy is this girl's father figure. And then she eventually wants to marry him. Like, I don't know if that's going to happen in this one, but, like, that's happened a bunch in these kind of shows. And I'm just like, ooh, I'm getting vibes that I don't want to deal with here about that. About this father figure who then is, you know, going to grow up and she wants to marry him. Like, that's just happened in too many of these goddamn fucking shows. So, Diamond, I might pick back up. And then that series about, like, the little baby ghost that just... I just was like, I don't really like this art style. I'm not really digging this story. The office worker and the spirits she sees that are trying to help her. I might come back to it, but I've let that drop. And I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows to talk to you about. Now, one show is only a minute long, a minute and a half long, so that will be easy for me to talk about. But still, I still have a ton of anime to talk to you about here. And we're going to start with, I mentioned it before, it's on High Dive, I'm Quitting Heroing. This is a story about a guy in the human army that fought the Demon Lord. He was a hero, part of the hero group. He defeated the Demon Lord, didn't kill her, but defeated her and wrecked the castle and kind of like put the army on the retreat, and the invasion of the Demon Lord has been basically severed. And then, pretty immediately, everyone was like, we can't trust you. You're strong enough to solo the Demon Lord. The king was just like, yeah, you're banished. And then assassins showed up to try to take him out. And he's just like, well, fuck. I don't know what to do here. I guess I'll go and join the demon army, because maybe there's a way. Maybe I should be instead focus on helping humans by helping the Demon Lord have like a strong front. That's kind of like his plan. So he's under disguise because rightfully the Demon Lord is like, no, what? You wrecked my place and you messed up my plans and you could have killed me. No, I don't want you working for me. What are you talking about? So he's basically hiding out, trying to help out with like supply chain problems, and food shortages and personnel issues. And then he spent most of this episode just kind of giving the succubus mage that he defeated, that is a high-ranking person in the Demon Lord army. She basically just gives her a really hard time. Like, it's being playful and flirty, but like, that's uncalled for. It's a workplace, my guy. He does have a personality, which is nice for an overpowered main character. But yeah, it is a bit of a weird one. The series itself, like, goes places, and we're not really going to get that because it's been a manga for quite some time. So we're not really going to get into the weird stuff. I don't even know if we'll get into, like, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but there's more going on with him. There's a little flash. The very first episode does have a flash of, like, this weird moment that, like, doesn't quite make sense and is out of place. Like, advice he's been given by somebody. But yeah, the series goes in some odd directions, and there's some stuff going on with him that we haven't even gotten a hint at. That will be interesting to see if that shows up, because like I can't who knows what they're going to be doing with the series if they'll get there. But I'm Quitting Heroing is still like a fine enough show to watch. Like, it's not my favorite. I won't forget that I watched it, but like, I had to take notes on it because I watched it on Tuesday, and like today I was just like, what happened to that episode? Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, he was getting job done and being flirty with her and just embarrassing her. Okay, that's what happened there. The Greatest Demon Lord is reborn as a typical nobody. To catch you up on this one, we're 2 episodes in. He wasn't a real demon lord. He was just a human that surpassed humanity's, like, he was the strongest human ever. He was like expert swordsman, incredible magic. He used Chantless magic. He used lost, magic that was considered that he created. He was tough, like incredibly great, and respected by a lot of people, but feared by a lot of people. And he didn't really have any close friends, and no one knew how to communicate with him because he had surpassed humanity. So he had regrets from he had a lot of regrets. He had let someone close to him die, and he was like, okay, I want to start over. And so he forced himself to be reincarnated. And turns out, we find out in this episode, hey, he reincarnated as the son of the heroes that defeated a demon lord, or a later, like, real demon lord. Along with his best friend's father. And now demons work with humans, and it's a whole thing. So he's the descendant of heroes, which honestly is great. I think that's fantastic because he is an incredibly overpowered main character. But he has justification, and he even uses that justification when people are like, how are you so fucking strong? He's like, well, my parents are strong. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, yeah, of course you'd be pretty strong, knowing who your parents are. And it's like, that's great. That is just like all the justification that most people need is for him to be like, yeah, I'm strong because they're strong. It's like, great, sure. Did we meet his classmates? Because of course, episode 2, he is enrolled in school, in which he is like top of the class and like so gifted and so talented that the principal is like freaked the fuck. He gets a 0 on his test because they can't comprehend his answers. It's basically like it's like beyond. It should have been like a tilde, not tilde, like a infinity sign. Do we meet a bully who is bullying a girl that he ends up befriending? Yes. Does that bully get just like completely trounced and like totally shown like he is capable comparatively, but not comparatively? Yes, completely demolished. Their new friend needs help building confidence. She's a succubus. Their teacher is someone who is like is a demon that was alive and worked underneath the demon lord, our main character, and so he's really afraid she's going to realize that he was reincarnated. And it's funny because he's not like, oh, like the word will get out. He's like, oh no, she's going to be mad at me because I forced my reincarnation and didn't tell anyone I was doing it. So he's just like, oh no, I'm going to get yelled at. So he's like, I hope she doesn't find out. But I don't know how she wouldn't. His big plan of just like having friends is coming true. He's like making friends and having experiences, but being a typical nobody, which is like the thing he wanted to do, is definitely not going to happen because like he's using magic no one's ever heard of contemporary because it's like lost or forgotten or people just like don't know how to use it. Because of course he can because he is the main character in this show. So yeah, it's pretty good. RPG Real Estate continues to be incredibly cute. I don't like the arts. Okay, so it's not the art style. I think the characters are designed really well. My biggest complaint with RPG Real Estate is that there's very little movement in the backgrounds as they're like walking. It's like, it's clearly like, you know, it's all digital obviously, but they only focus on the characters and it almost feels like they're walking on like sets. You know what I mean? And that's just like, you know, the budget this show has, I guess. It's a very cute show. I think the premise is so adorable about like 15 years after the Demon Lord was defeated and monsters are now, monsters and demons are integrating into society. What do you do if you were going to magic school? Like, you become adventurers or you become a real estate agent? And some of the real estate stuff they have to deal with is like, the Demon Lord's castle is now a theme park, but the houses that were around it are unusual for humans. So then they're like finding monsters and demons and demi-humans to live there. The show is basically just like a problem arises and via friendship and like figuring things out, they will solve the problems they need to solve. But a lot of the problems they need to solve, like you as an audience member, as a viewer, figure it out. Like, oh yeah, this old lady lives alone in this mansion. She'd like to, but like nobody wants to like move into the mansion because that would be so expensive. So yeah, why don't you just rent out rooms to people that like, like students, and then you'll have like, and then she's just like, it's like I have a lot of grandkids all of a sudden. And it's like, yeah, I figured that out 5 minutes ago. It took a long time for the characters to get that. So you end up ahead of the characters, wasn't great. But they're all really cute. This was the show where I was talking about how there was queer baiting, because two of the characters, there's 4 characters, they're all young. They're all like, well, the demon girl is not as old as the other. The other 3 are like 17, 18 years old. So they're all young ladies. 2 of them live together. And there's a joke about how one of them is going to make a good wife, and the other one's like, oh, no. She's staying with me. And there was like a look that was shared, and it's like, look, if these 2 characters are queer, fuck yeah, that's awesome. That's very cool. But if you are like playing with the idea of this is a slice of life about cute girls doing cute things together, and in a fantasy setting, and you're just like queer baiting, then fuck off. That sucks. I right now, as I said, I can't figure this one out. My assumption is queer baiting and subtext, more so than them being an actual couple. But also the show is fan servicey, like immediately fan servicey in a way that I don't love. And that sucks. My hope is that it won't be as like over the top as it's been. This episode 2 was. Episode 1 really wasn't too much, but episode 2 had like just like a couple things that was just like no. But the characters are cute and are likable so far, and that's nice. And it's a premise that I enjoy. The idea of, I loved. Dragon Goes House Hunting, which was this is a little similar. This is from the perspective of the the client, the people working at the agency more than the people looking for houses. So it's a little different, but it's still fantasy and all that. So I like it. This is a show that like has the possibility of being a big disappointment. This one could bum me out more so than other shows this season. Like this has like a definite high risk of disappointing me, whereas other shows like I think I'd be a bit more forgiving, just because it is trying to like, I don't know, it does feel a little like queer baity. Skeleton Knight in Another World is another anime that I've been watching that I enjoy. Probably my favorite opening this season is the opening song for Skeleton Knight in Another World. It fucking kicks ass. It's a cool, like, kind of Dragon Force-y song. Like less guitar solos in the actual one. Like, I think the full song has more guitar solos, but just, like, cool action and, like, a little bit of goofiness. The OP really does show off, like, the silliness of this particular show, which I really like. Because it does have a lot of humor in it, so that's fun. So I enjoy that. These are of course the beam sabers, even though they're not complete. You don't build with anything; they just live there. And then you can remove one if you want to have it, hold a beam saber, which we won't because they don't look good. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so. Skeleton Knight, this is like very like early in figuring what the show is about. Our dude was playing a video game. He was really good at it. He fell asleep one night, and when he woke up, he was in the game world as his avatar. His avatar is a skeleton man. So he's a knight, a skeleton knight. And he is like, well, if anybody asks, I've just been cursed. But he's getting into the adventuring. So he does his first adventure, which is his first quest from the Adventure Guild. Is he meets a young lady who is looking for an escort in the woods so that she can collect stuff to help out her mom. She's a young lady. It's very cute. Monsters show up. Our main dude dispatches them. No biggie, no problem. He shows off how cool he is. Then a really big motherfucking monster shows up, and it's like, oh fuck. And I will say this, our main character, who is very overpowered, does have a moment where it looks like he might be in trouble. Is he in trouble? No. He's mostly only slowed down a bit from this like huge monster because he is protecting this young lady who he's guarding her in the forest. So he has to like focus on helping her out. But then he takes care of business, and it's a cool little fight that you knew he was going to win because, of course, he was going to win. I should also say the best part of this episode is the introduction of the cutest little character in the show. Oh, man, you're going to love him so much when you meet our fun little friend, Ponta. Ponta is a kitsune. It is a fox spirit. I believe it has 6 tails. It is green. It is very, very cute, and our guide casts heal on him, and then this little friend is just like, okay, I'm sticking with you. Give me a name. And he comes with the name Ponta, and Ponta is adorable, and there's a plushie of Ponta that, like, they take a photo with at the end of, like, the tag of every episode is, like, this little plushie of Ponta, and there's no way I'm going to get it. I want it. I don't know how I would get it. I'd probably get it at a convention, I guess. But I would like it because it's very cute. Ponta rules. And, there's a looming threat of, hey, that big monster he defeated was probably the work of some evil shit. So he's going to have to get into it. And episode 1 had, like, a moment where, like, he overheard a conversation with, like, an elf. And is that going to play into it? I mean, the answer is yes. And at the end of the day, he earns the respect of some people. He catches a boar to help out the village. Protects a young girl. His name spreads a little bit, and he completes a quest, which he was really happy about. And there might be more shenanigans. And he also has a new friend. He's got an animal friend. We love an animal friend. So that's cute and fun. All right, I am going to skip the weapons and the shield for now. And I want to get body complete on this kit. So we're going to build the skirt parts, the side skirt parts that we haven't built yet. We're going to build that panel line and stick it on there. Because once we do that, then the kit is at least body complete, and then we can work on the weapons and all that. So let's get that there. So we need C17 and D16. So we'll do that there. And then real quick, I'm KODAMA KAWASHIRI. The whole thing is like a minute and a half full because it's mostly just the opening. I've been talking about the show a bunch. I really like it. And this one, it's just a gag. This is a gag manga. KODAMA wishes that there were 3 of her. But then she realizes, because she's like, there's stuff I have to do, there's stuff I want to do, and then I also want to be lazy. Because even the stuff she wants to do, she's still rather be lazy. So she's like, well, if there were 3 of me, then one could do the stuff we have to do, and one could do the stuff we want to do, and then one of us could just be lazy. But she's like, wait, if there were 3 of me, we'd all just want to be lazy. Relatable. And then later, she has too many things to do. And it's like, it's represented by frogs bothering her. She's like bogged down by all of the, by all of the things that she has to do. And she's like, I get it. She can't decide where to start. So she's like, you know what? I'll just have a beer because then I will I'll drown out the voices, which is obviously not healthy. But I'll drown out the voices of things that I have to do. And it won't bother me. But that doesn't work. So now she just has a headache from drinking and also is still bogged down by all of the stuff, like all of the responsibility is still weighing down on her and bothering her. So she doesn't win. Again, cute show, fun little art style on that very short series. I would say worth your time. You could marathon it real quick and easy. I'm KODAMA KAWASHIRI. Gets my recommendation. And that's all the anime that I have to talk to you about today. On Saturday, I will have more. As of right now, I have not decided to drop any of my Saturday shows. Of course, one of my Friday, Saturdays, I should say, I have moved over. Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie. I will talk about that on Mondays. But I'm still planning on watching Kaguya-sama's Love is War. I'm still planning on watching The Executioner and Her Way of Life. Heron-san, still really like. Hakara and I enjoy that. Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It. Might drop that, honestly. Not really digging the second season, but I'll give it another episode. Spy Family. I love the first episode. Of course, I'm going to keep watching that. Spy Family is probably my favorite show this season. What percentage of isekai do their reincarnations like a new game plus with the same abilities versus more of a reroll of those abilities? So, Lord Crashton, isekais are generally not new games. It's occasionally tough to classify. Like a show like I'm a Typical Nobody, the Demon Lord reincarnated Typical Nobody, that's a reincarnation show. He's not in a new world. He is in the future of his own world, because he was in a fantasy world, and now he has his powers again. He's just younger. So that's not really a isekai. There are occasionally shows where, or series where it is about the reincarnation, but the character was also isekai'd as their second chance at that. Like, there's a series, I can't remember the name of it, but basically the premise is, the skill he got when he was isekai'd was a do-over. He got one do-over. So when he died, he reset with all the knowledge he had gained to where he was. And of course, you as the audience member didn't know that until he was murdered. So he was able to like restart. That's very rare. That's infrequent. Usually the reincarnation often are like, I studied magic. Turns out I studied magic I wasn't suited before. Or last season we had the strongest sage with the weakest crest. and that was somebody that wanted to restart his life because he was born with the wrong crest and couldn't use the magic he wanted to use. Those are a reincarnation series in a fantasy setting, but they are not technically isekai. So, yeah, and occasionally they end up being actually isekai series. Like I said, there are the occasion where you get both. You get the that guy was isekai and then was reincarnated. Also, occasionally there are. I was reading a manga where I found out late into the manga. I can't remember the name of it. Late into the manga, it was revealed that he was an isekai. Like, he had been isekai. It was just a overpowered main character. It was never like, it was not about being like whatever. And eventually it was just like, oh yeah. Before I reincarnated, I was I did live in Japan at one point. And you're like, what? Okay. So yeah, those show up. Just that. Let's see. And then there's the subgenre that I do enjoy. There's not a lot of these. I was isekai'd. Now I'm back in reality. We're getting that next season with the show that used to be about like the Sega fanboy who got isekai'd or whatever. They're not calling it that. But that was generally kind of the premise, was just like a dude that was in a coma all this time was in another world, and now he's like trying to like live his life and put his life back together, and then talk about his experiences where he was considered very ugly over there. Like, it's a running gag that people think a monster showed up, like an ogre showed up. And he's like, no, hey, hi. But there's one about a dude that came back that's pretty new. I think actually he's on hiatus, but he came back and now he has and he got involved in a death game. He just got involved in a death game. But because he isn't character from another world, it's like, yeah, that's fine. I'm not, like, I literally have no issues with you because I'm, I'm like, no, I'm fine. I have abilities from another world. There's one about a dude that, like, a guy who, like, came back from the, from living in a fantasy world. Oh, there's one that I think we've only had 2 chapters in so far. Dude was isekai'd, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go back. And they're like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go back. I got my family waiting for me. And he comes back, and while he was gone, which was only a couple of months, the zombie apocalypse happened, which fucking sucks. And the thing he can think of is, I wish that I hadn't left all my weapons over there, because he like gave his weapons as gifts to other people to remember him by, because he was like, well, I don't need this, so you can have this, have my sword or whatever. And he's just like, shit, I guess I shouldn't have come back. And my only thing of that is, like, I feel like whatever, thing summoned him over there should have been like, oh, hey, you don't want to go back. Things are fucked there. So it's basically now him like, well, I guess I gotta murder zombies. He's like prepared for it. I've only read like 2 chapters of that because it hasn't really been, we haven't really gotten a translation of it. But I think that's a fun premise. Just like, I mean, it sucks, but like kind of a fun premise. There's also a manhwa, a South Korean comic, where a guy who was did not want to be a hero, did everything he needed to do to survive, defeat the demon lord, comes back and finds out his family has died and has a mental breakdown, and he still has all his powers, and starts destroying everything. Because if he can't be happy, no one can be happy. And it's obviously he's the villain, but then there are people that agree with him, and there are people from other worlds and other heroes that don't agree with him because they had a much different experience than he did. And it's brutal and sad. And I stopped reading it eventually because I was like, I don't want to keep reading this. I forgot this part here of this weapon, so I'm going to try to separate these pieces enough to get this piece in. We'll see if I can. All right, yeah. should be able to put this together without it being an issue now. Hey, what are you watching, folks? What are you playing? What are you doing with your free time? I always like to check in with everybody and hear what they're up to. So if you've got anything that you've been doing lately, feel free to let me know. Your friend Pat has just been playing Hearthstone. Played Hearthstone. Hey, Lysander, welcome. I played Hearthstone on stream yesterday. I've been playing a lot because Tuesday was a new expansion. We got a rotation of cards from standard to wild, a bunch of new standard cards. It has been, the meta has been different. Folks saw me play a very degenerate deck, a not nice deck that I continue to play today. And then also there's a version that's not as powerful in standard, but is also pretty powerful, where you can make a 3-mana 12/12 that copies itself and has rush. So that is the standard version of that wild deck that I was playing. And it's not as consistent because some of the best cards for that are wild, but you can still pull it off. And even if your opponent has silence, they can't silence both, so it's not an OTK, but it is a win early. And it's pretty great and terrible. And I've been enjoying that. I've been playing that. Trying out some Tiny Tina and watching Season 2 of Gundam Thunderbolt. Hell yeah, M. John. Aristovan says, last weekend I saw everything everywhere all at once, and it was great. Yeah, I would love to see that. I will see that at some point. I don't know when I will see that, obviously, but I do want to check that out because it does sound fantastic. And I've heard nothing but good things from people whose opinions I respect very much. So I would like to check that out in the future. All right, so we got that gun there. And then we got this gun here. We're going to get some of the shield done, and then we'll be able to wrap this up here. We'll get some of the shield done tonight, but then we'll finish the shield and then do the flyer on Saturday. Or not Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. That's what I meant to say, yeah. Back to back for blood. Oh, you're back for blood. Hey, Ghost Valve. Also, hi. That took me a second. Okay, you're playing Back for Blood. Awesome. I've been messing with my Mr. more. Given the multitude of choices, I decided to try Super Mario Brothers Special. Flashbrook. Well, enjoy that, my friend. I've been trying out new anime, Tribe 9. Tribe 9. That Cybersunk show that gangs solve their differences with extreme baseball. Yeah. A friend of mine who I value their opinion really liked that show. I couldn't deal with the fact that some characters in that show take everything very seriously, and other characters in that show, like, there's gangs that are like, this is war, and this is blood, and this is whatever. And there are people who are like, we're playing baseball. And I'm like, the disconnect just didn't work for me. But I also know that some people loved it, and not everything's for everybody. I tried out that new Chrono Cross remaster, and I was not expecting the battle system to be weird as it is. Chrono Cross is weird. It is a weird game. I do remember liking it, but it can be a little weird. Gaming wise, I've been pulled between Tiny Tina, Hearthstone, and a new Final Fantasy 14 patch. Oh, nice. Yeah, I just been playing Hearthstone. I could have played tonight, but I would have had to leave very early to do the stream. I could have played some Halo. My Halo crew did get a game together, but I did not participate in any of that game because I was doing this. Because I didn't want to play for 10 minutes and then leave. All right, so we're not going to get too much of the shield done, but I am going to apply the stickers because the last stickers we have here are for this, and they're big, so I might as well do that. And we'll just apply the stickers, and then we'll build the rest of the shield on the next stream. So we'll do the stickers on the shield here, and then the rest of it later. The rest of the shield build later. After watching the Jan Just-splaining episode about Kingdom Hearts, yeah. I'm thinking of finally booting up my copy of Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, 2.8/3 that has been sitting on my PS for the longest time. Lord Crashin says, I'm excited for Hard Space Shipbreaker to hit 1.0 in May. I just saw the release announcement trailer for that. Yeah. Going back to Kingdom Hearts, here's the thing. I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and I didn't like it. And that's been it for me. I respect my friends that love it. I understand my friends that grew up with it, especially folks that are like, yeah, they grew up with that game. That game means something to them. Simple and clean, remix or not. English language, Japanese language, remix, all bangers. Big fan of Simple and Clean. Not taken away from anybody. But I did enjoy the first game, and I haven't played it since. And look, there are three kinds of people. People that make fun of Kingdom Hearts. People that love Kingdom Hearts. And people that love Kingdom Hearts who are mad that people make fun of it. Because, and I don't have a problem with the people that love Kingdom Hearts that are just like, are self-aware to be like, yeah, I love a nonsense thing. But I literally saw somebody do a 6-tweet rant yesterday about how the names for the games aren't confusing. And I was like, oh, you're in that category that I don't know how to deal with, which is people that love Kingdom Hearts so much they can't understand why other people don't love it. And I just like this person would say like, oh, I think all of Brian David Gilbert's stuff is great, except for the explainer on Kingdom Hearts because he gets a lot of stuff wrong. And it's like, yeah, all right, you can't have a sense of humor about that. Okay, like I understand it, I just can't. I'm waiting for Jan to get to do a Kingdom Hearts ER. Oh God, no endurance run. No, I don't think it will. I think explainers are how you're going to get content about Kingdom Hearts. I don't think you're going to get actual, like, real game. I don't think we're ever going to see any more Kingdom Hearts gameplay. Maybe this next one, there'll be a quick look, but I think that's the extent of it. But yeah, I just don't know how to deal with people who are, like, mad that like, no, the game's names are weird. And you're like, yeah, but that's like this name where it's like something, a big number over days. Well, that's because of this and this. Yeah, you know that, but it's a silly name. It's nonsense. You're like, well, it's literally the whole game is a fragment of a person's memory, so it makes sense. You're like, yes, if you have context, the names make sense, I guess, but out of context they don't. And video game names probably need to make sense on their own. And then the context makes it better. Like the fact that a lot of Ratchet and Clank games are like pun names. They still work for the thing, but they also are just good on their own. You know, it's like, okay, like, right? Like, I don't know. That's just me. I do love Jan is the I love Kingdom Hearts, but it has also ruined my life camp. Yes. Kingdom Hearts is a video game made like an anime franchise. Exactly. Like, in my life, like, people like want to compare it to JoJo. And I'm like, no, you don't compare Kingdom Hearts to JoJo. JoJo doesn't make any sense if you hear fragments of it. But every season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a story that eventually does have, it has nonsense in it, but it is a story that has like is doing things and doesn't rely on retcons. Kingdom Hearts relies on retcons and actuallys and it turns out and nonsense words. Like, I have a friend that is really into the Fate series, and she acknowledges, she will just straight up say, Pat, I can tell you what my favorite Fate, like, oh, my favorite Stay Night is my favorite, or one of the movies is my favorite, or I do like the Camelot movies. I can tell you that. I can't tell you if they're good or not because I'm broken about this series and I have no context. I can only tell you what my favorite moments are or my favorite characters or the versions of those characters. But I can't tell you objectively if any of them are worth your time because I can't. figure that out for anyone else. And I'm like, perfect. Just tell me what you like about it. Great. I watched the one where they cook. That's my favorite Fate series because no one gets murdered by somebody, and everyone's just eating good food and being nice to each other. It's like that's the best Fate show. But yeah, it is like how there's 3 different anime series for a certain magical index. And there's 3 anime, and they all, like, some of them have been made over the course of 10 years. So, like, the 3rd series has events that happened, like, 8 years ago, and they show them again, but they're done in, like, 2021 art style, not 2011 art style. And you're like, this is just needlessly complicated. Like, there's a flow chart if you want to watch all of it in order. And I'm just like, no thanks, that's too much. Thanks, but no thanks. Anyway, I shouldn't have ranted about Kingdom Hearts. Also, I should have, and I'll probably rant more as we get closer to... Who knows when that's going to come out, but at some point I'll talk more about Kingdom Hearts because why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Anyway, we're going to go raid. That is how we end every stream here, is with a raid. My next stream will be on Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, as usual. I hope you come check out, stream out, because it'll be fun. We're gonna go find somebody cool to go hang out with tonight and see what they're up to. So I hope you come along on this raid. We always end with a raid, as John says. Yes, we do always end with a raid. Who is doing stuff that we want to go hang out with? Let's see. Because I would love to raid this person, but I need to know when they started, because they don't do long streams. I got to be careful of that, because we just had this the other day where we raided somebody and they were like definitely done, and I was like, oh no. Okay, great. We're gonna raid Abby, who's playing Elden Ring, because she didn't start. She only started streaming 20 minutes ago, so we're gonna go raid Abby Russell because Abby's great. We like her a lot. So we're going to go raid Abby Russell playing Elden Ring. So come along on that. Because apparently she just started not too long ago. And I am interested in seeing Abby play Elden Ring. So this is for me. Also, her community is lovely. She's got good mods and good people. So we're going to go raid Abby. So feel free to come along on this raid. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you come back and check out the stream again on Saturday as I finish this kit up, finish all the components we need to build that, and then start something new. I don't know what that's going to be. My $10 patrons will vote tomorrow. Thanks so much for hanging out tonight. I hope you have a great evening. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye.